relationships and see, Jorge, I am torn. That's all I can say is I'm torn. No, not because of what happened on the finale, but because I went horseback riding in tight jeans and... Oh, hey! Ha! It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with a Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 4's lackluster finale. There, I said it. I am not going to pussyfoot or sugarcoat. I'm a little disappointed, but then, for some people, this was a disappointing season of All-Stars, I'm just saying. And I'm filled with questions, I'm sure as you are. Questions like, what the hell was that? And how much does Naomi charge for a spanking? And what the heck was wrong with Ru's face? Did anyone else think it was a little odd looking? Just for a minute there, I thought there was something going on. A thought crossed your mind or something. It just didn't look right is what I'm saying. But there's no time to linger on that because I will answer all those questions and more. But first, I have to say, Jorge, drink me. Wait, before you do that, I would just like to say a big thank you to deSouza who drew this for me. Isn't that gorgeous? It's so beautiful. And now you can get this image on a t-shirt, on a coffee mug, on a notebook, a sticker, phone case, whatever you want. Just go to redbubble.com. I'll put a link down below. And you too can have me on all of that. Just saying. Okay, where was I? Oh, right. Jorge, drink me! What is this? It's very classy. It's a martini. Better not be made of tequila is all I'm saying. It is. Man, it's just tequila, isn't it? Just ice cold tequila. You know what I'm saying? After this season, I'm starting to get used to this. Maybe for season 11, you can introduce yourself to some other alcohol, I'm just saying. Okay, so we started this episode off with a fabulous highlight reel for each of the 4 remaining queens, so we could be reminded of some of their great work this season, because let's face it, a lot of disappointment has certainly caused at least me to forget some of the higher points that these girls achieved. I'm so serious. Not that they weren't all fabulous, all of the girls this season, but as it's been a bit of a disappointment for everybody, I'm sure that there are people that are divided on this top 4. Surely there's 1 or 2 queens that people would have rather have seen in there. Vanilla, sorry, I'm just saying. But that said, once the highlight reels were done, it was time to say goodbye to Latrice. If you remember, she was the last queen kicked off. And there were not a lot of tears shed for Latrice. I'm just saying. I mean, there were tears shed, almost. I mean, Monet almost cried herself a river when Monique implied that it was her name that she had in her titty. I'm just saying, oh my God. There was just that brief moment when the look in Monet's eyes said that RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars was going to become murder, she wrote. I'm so serious. I hope that at some point down the road, Monet can look back at this moment and see exactly how funny it was, because seriously, I laughed till I peed. And then I laughed at that. I love that Trinity couldn't relax at all knowing she was in the top 4, because she was waiting for a big twist, and rightly so. I mean, All-Stars 3, if it hasn't taught us one thing, it's at least that you can't get relaxed because somebody's going to pull that rug out from under your feet. And there was a hot brief moment in this episode where there was that surprise. We thought, oh, good grief, when the 3 All-Stars showed up in the workroom. But I still am wondering why they were there at all. I mean, there was that brief moment when they suggested they were picking the winner, and I thought, well, okay, that's something, that's new, that's different. But no, that didn't seem to be why they were there at all. For me, I think they were there because they either had some contractual obligations to finish off, or they were just still there from last time. I don't know what happened, but either way, disappointing. I'm just gonna say, left me with questions. I'm just gonna say. The next day in the workroom, Naomi set the tone by giving Trinity a very hard, swift spank on the bum. So much so that Trinity seemed to be worried about bruising or leaking or something exploding. I wasn't really listening to her, because that's when Naomi asked, do you know how much somebody would pay for a spanking from Naomi Smalls? And all I can ask is, how much is it, Naomi? I mean, clearly you know. Clearly someone's asked and you've answered. I'm just saying. But seriously, I could just see Naomi now branching off, instead of making drag t-shirts, not that there's anything wrong with that, or cutting albums, that she just starts to put ads in the back of questionable magazines. Naomi Smalls patty cakes. I'd pay $10. I'd give her $10 for one good one. She got narrow hands. Maybe she wore a paddle. But before the queens could ponder Naomi's pricing arc, there was Ru with this week's main final challenge, and wearing another spectacular suit. This one, I think Ru saved the best for last. I'm so serious. This week's final challenge, of course, as it usually is for the queens to perform and write a lyric for Ru's song du jour. And the song this jour was Super Queen. Now, a couple of the queens, they paired off as they were writing their lyrics, and Monet and Monique, reflected really eloquently on what it would mean for them to be the first QOC, that's Queen of Color, in the All-Stars Hall of Fame. And even just being in the top two together, what that would mean for young, gay, black boys, or let's just say boys in general, because I certainly haven't got a problem with anyone's color. If you're a drag queen, paint yourself whatever color you want. This is what I'm saying. But that said, I thought it was very eloquent the way Momo went on about how they could be inspirational to the next generation of little black drag queens coming out of whatever neighborhood they're from. And I have to say, it's a great point. I think that every group definitely needs to have heroes and examples of greatness. But I think that Momo's doing themselves a disservice by saying, I mean, they all but implied that they would really only inspire these people if they hit top four. They've inspired them now. They inspired them last season. Every time anybody unique is on TV, all those other unique people out there connect. And I think they've already achieved that goal. And I hope that they're able to feel good about that, regardless of where they landed when it was all said and done. Speaking of landing, there was Trinity in the top floor, and clearly incapable of relaxing, which I think is a secret to her success. Naomi seemed to think that she was starting to crack, but that's just Naomi being 24. Most young people usually breeze through a lot of things. They don't overthink things, and in a lot of cases that's for the best. But where Trinity's concerned, I mean, she's a seasoned queen. She's been around the block more than twice, and she knows things are coming. She's preparing herself. She's setting herself up for success by second-guessing the things that she might not be able to do and then getting ahead of them. And I have to say, that's one of the things about Trinity that I love. She's never down about her skills. She just knows which ones are going to take a little more work to push her over the finish line. So here's to Trinity. Way to go, girl. Don't be limited by your limitations. That's all I'm saying. But before Trinity could get too far ahead of herself, it was time to rehearse with my best boyfriend, Todrick Hall. I just have to say, every time I see Todrick Hall, I swoon a little bit. He's just so beautiful. He's got those beautiful eyes. His skin just begs to be touched. Shut your face. And even that weird little deconstructed denim underwear outfit that he had on was gorgeous. I just loved it. There, I said it. I love Todrick Hall. I don't care who knows it. If you're single, Todrick, Mama wants a hug. I'm just saying, even if you're not single. That said, of course, Trinity seemed to worry the most out of the whole group. But I love, again, that she is honest. She says she can dance, but she's not a choreography queen. And it's a huge, big difference. You move with the music, which I think Trinity does beautifully. It's one thing. But when somebody tells you where to move and when, it can be quite a kibosh in the works, is all I'm saying. And she seemed to have those problems. Every time Todrick seemed to get a little intricate, she seemed to get a little worried and started to voice her worry. But then he said, well, you're inspiring me to make these dance moves. And she's like, well, okay then. And I like that about Trinity. She stuck to it. She didn't complain too much. She assured Todrick that it may not look good now, but come the performance, it would be fabulous. Speaking of fabulous, Naomi Smalls, god bless her, got picked up during rehearsal more ways than one. First of all, I'm sorry that Todrick cock-blocked her during the rehearsal. All Naomi was trying to do was get her swerve on, and why not? That dancer she was standing next to, adorbs. But even though Todrick kind of chastised her and said, people who don't take this seriously tend to go home, Naomi was the only one who seemed to be able to do the cartwheel without even flinching. And I think that's because she started to build a rapport with her dancer, or she just wanted to give him a message that she was easy to pick up. Either way, good for Naomi, I'm just saying. And of course, Monet, no problem whatsoever. She's a dancer, she's a singer, she's good. And I think it was cute that she scared a couple of those queens by how quickly she picked up that choreography. I'm just saying, even the cartwheel wasn't the most graceful one, but she at least did it. Speaking of cartwheels, poor Monique. Here's to you, Monique. I hope you don't feel too bad about not being able to do a cartwheel, because that's a lot of mental prep. We're not supposed to be upside down with our legs in the air, unless, of course, you're Dita Von Teese or Naomi Smalls. Just saying. Good for you, Monique. That said, oh, sweet God. Oh, sweet criminy. Even Trinity, doing her first cartwheel, at least got her legs up over her head and landed. Monique couldn't seem to even just get off her feet. Her arm wanted to go one way. And so, bless her. We're not all gymnasts, but I think we can all throw ourselves over our heads in a pinch. Sorry about it, Monique. Just saying. Then it was on to the podcast. And I have to say, I like these, but they're much better teasers to what the full podcast would be. So I am just going to say, go to RuPaul's What's the Tea with Michelle Visage and listen to these podcasts in their entirety, because I feel like the time they're allotted on the show really doesn't do that much. And case in point, Trinity, I didn't feel that she had that much to say. She told them that she wanted every walk down that runway to surprise them. Well, she did that. Good for her. Monet was another one whose podcast it just wasn't that interesting to me, although I do have to say, yes, it was great to see her finally get there, because in season 10, she got kicked off right before. And it was also fun to hear that she has a one-woman show. She and Patty are off to Australia with it. And the name, Call Me By Monet, is so cute and adorbs. I keep forgetting how young Naomi is, because she's just so full of confidence. And when she was saying to Michelle and Ru that those are the moments when people critique her and say things like they don't like her or aren't liking what she's doing, that it eats away at her, it really touches my heart, because I forget that she's 24 and I forget that she is vulnerable, because seriously, that girl floats through that workroom on a cloud of confidence. And if she could bottle that, she wouldn't have to sell Spanx. I'm just saying. Monique killed this podcast for me. She's the life she's in. No wonder she's so hard on herself, I'm just saying. From having to help gays pray their gay away in the church, and living that lie that literally had her hiding in her own body. 300 pounds. As Ruth said, on that skinny little frame. By comparison, 300 pounds is my goal weight. But seriously, Monique, here's to you, girl. You've had it, you've done it, you've seen it, and you've survived beautifully. Here's to you. Love you. Yummy. And then it was back to the workroom, and another lackluster point that I didn't quite understand about this episode. The All-Stars were there. And at first, when they turned around and revealed that they were going to be picking the winner, I was gooped too. I was like, Monique, that whole thing looked like she was trying to not throw up in her wig. But then they said that they weren't, and even the reveal of them not picking the winner seemed to go over like a lead balloon as well. The only thing that anyone was happy about them being there for was cocktails in the morning. And who doesn't love a cocktail no matter what it's made with? I'm just saying. But that said, it was nice to see them. They all look great. But I'm still wondering why they were there at all. It was very distracting. And then it was time to get ready for the runway, and there was Ru in a stunning silver dress. But again, I'm filled with questions here too. What is with her hips? Other people have asked, and I've noticed at times that they say, I mean, this dress, I thought that the hips looked like they were built into it for some reason. But they're very, very big hips, and Ru's not a very, very big queen. So it was a weird lower half of the dress for me. And I know I said off the top that I had questions about Ru's face. I thought it looked fine here. I thought she looked great, it was fine, whatever. But later, I'll show you, it just didn't seem right to me. What did seem right for me was everybody's runway this season. Now, there were only 4 queens, so, you know, the bad ones stand out more. But I thought all the queens looked good. Monet's African beaded print or stoned print with that beautiful dreaded wig. Stunning. It's the best she's ever looked, and I hope she keeps that up because it was a good look for her. Whoever made that dress, good for you. I loved Naomi's outfit. I loved that it was big, and it was the most fabric I think she's had on in all of her episodes combined. But then she still dropped the skirt so we could see her assets. And I just loved it. I loved the little Spanish hat. I loved the beading, the mesh. She looked gorgeous. Trinity. Oh, sweet Marie in the ships at sea. This is a dress I would make. This is a dress I would do for myself. If I saw that Wedgwood fabric in a store, I'd be saying, teacaps on your boobs. I'd be screaming it. The design was stunning. The shape was gorgeous. The teacup reveal was hilarious. She looked gorgeous. I agree with Michelle. This is one of the best dresses I've ever seen on RuPaul's Drag Race. Any runway, period. It was stunning. The one look that I felt didn't belong with the group was Monique's. And no offense to Monique, but I don't think she should make all of her own clothes anymore. Now that she got a little bit of money, a little bit of fame, I think she should let other people do it. I think also she should let other people design her outfits. And I'm not trying to throw shade here. I'm just saying, I don't think that Monique has a great idea of what looks best on her. Maybe it's because she used to be heavy. She's afraid of showing too much, but in that dress, I loved her wig. The wig was the best head of hair I've seen on her both times she's been on RuPaul's Drag Race. But the dress itself, I mean, it was fine up here, but then I agree with Michelle. All of that ruffling and that around the waist just took her shape away. And will somebody please take those gloves away from her? This is the 3rd set of those gloves. I know she's making them long enough for nails underneath, but I think the rule is if you have gloves on, you don't need the nails, or you stick the nails on the top of the glove. But they just make her look like she has dinosaur hands. Do you know what I mean? And the way the gloves, it's just very distracting. Not that she didn't look great, not that it wasn't an all-stars worthy outfit, but it's just those little finesses that I think would be handled better if someone else was making them for her. I'm just saying. Here's to you for trying though, Monique. So many people don't even know how to thread a machine. Which brings me to this. Did anyone else think that Ru looked just a little odd there? I just feel like somebody else did her makeup. It just looked that touch off from the beginning of the runway. And it makes me think that because of the whole Tide situation, having to MacGyver the ending together, that they also had to go back in maybe and get Ru to do some pickup lines or something. But either way, she just seemed to be completely a different person, or maybe they wheeled her mannequin in. I don't know what happened. But I'm filled with questions. Seriously. So after the judges deliberated, and let's just be honest here, this wasn't so much a deliberation as it was a love-in. These judges really had nothing bad to say about anybody, which gets a little boring after a while. That said, though, when the queens all came back on, it was quickly revealed that Monet and Trinity were the top. So Monique and Naomi had to scuttle back to the back of the stage and watch the end of it all. Now, I have to say, this was a great lip sync song. I think both girls did a great job. But here's the thing. I felt that Trinity did a better job than Monet only because Trinity used every inch of that stage. She was here, she was there, she was back, she was front. She even did a wonky cartwheel, which if Monet hadn't been standing kind of right in front of her to kind of distract from it, I think it would have done her more harm than good. I'm just saying. Now, with that said, Monet did more or less stand there, but she did drop fabulous splits, and she got all comical with some of her facial expressions, and was true to her brand. So I feel that both girls did a good job. But I want to say this before I say anything else. Ties suck at a winning situation. I mean, when RuPaul has ties on the lip sync for your life and no queens go home, or the tie is that both queens go home, Layla and Dax, I'm just saying, those are fine. For me, those ones are fine. But when you're getting to the finish line, ties suck. Now, in my opinion, Trinity won. Now, I don't mean that in any disrespect to Monet, because I love her. I think she's great. I loved her season 10, although I did feel she was just a little less nice this season, but then she wasn't up for Miss Congeniality, I'm just saying. But I felt that Trinity, she won the most challenges. She was in the bottom the least. As far as the report card goes, she won. And I don't think a lot of people would disagree with me there. That said, I thought Monet did a fantastic job this season. Did she win All-Stars, in my opinion? No, but she would have won an award for Most Improved Queen from her season ever, period. She killed it. She just didn't win as much as Trinity, and she was in the bottom a bit more. I think that if Manila hadn't been kicked out by Naomi, it might have been a different ending and we might not have had a tie. I'm not saying it would have been good, bad, or ugly, just different. Am I upset that these queens have won? No, not at all. I think they both deserve it. I have no problem with either of them. They're both very talented. I enjoy both of them. Neither of them are helping me pay my rent, so it really doesn't matter to me, A, how they do, or B, what they think of my opinion of it. But that said, I think that they're good representatives for RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm sorry that there's been so much fallout on the socials, one way or another, as far as these girls go, especially where Monet is concerned. I think a lot of people are saying that it was a tie just to get some color into the Hall of Fame oeuvre, but I don't believe that at all. I don't. I think that it's all about who's the best. And of this season, Monet and Trinity were the best. I also think that since they were allowed to tie, I think that they should have had a Naomi and Monique tie as well. They second place. If there were a cash prize for second place, I think that Naomi and Monique should share that as well. But they didn't, and they aren't, and it's over. And for good, bad, or ugly, whether you liked the season right through or you didn't, I have to say this. There were a lot of problems this season, as there were with All-Stars 3. But I still watched the whole thing. Would I have watched the whole thing if I wasn't doing a review? Absolutely. Would I have been as upset one way or another with anything that went on? Sure, because you get caught up in the drama. If we didn't love Manila, we wouldn't have cared that she went. If we didn't love Shangela, we wouldn't have cared that she lost. It's all about the television being good. We all say we want to watch a fabulous season of RuPaul's Drag Race, but you have to be specific. I want to see a fabulous season of RuPaul's Drag Race where my picks all win. There's a season I want to see. Sometimes I pick them right, sometimes I pick them wrong. Either way, I love the journey as much as the girls seem to. Win, lose, or draw, it's great drag, it's great television, and what the hell else are you doing at 8 o'clock on a Friday night? Speaking of, we've got a week off until season 11, I'm so serious, and I can't wait for it myself. As I said in my cast review, which you can see, it's up online, this is going to be an exciting season of RuPaul's Drag Race. All the queens seem to be really seasoned. They seem to have a body of work behind them. I am looking forward to all of it. I don't think that there is a dud in the lineup. I am certainly looking forward to seeing how it all boils down. And we've only got a week to wait. And don't forget, season 11 will be on Thursday, so you don't have to waste our Friday pre-drinking to go out while watching RuPaul's Drag Race. Just go out Thursday. Oh, a nice evening in so we don't get up too late for work on Friday. I'm so serious. So, there you go. All Stars 4, done and dusted. Whether you loved it, hated it, or bailed halfway through, we don't have to talk about it anymore. And we've got all season 11 to look forward to. So, all you gotta do is tune in to me after you watch the premiere episode of season 11 on Thursday, February 28th. And when you're done, come on back and see me, and you and I'll compare notes. Till then, miss me! Seriously,